I got 1.2 million more votes than your successful governor's campaign. You know that. We got 1.2 million. Sir, I'd love to have your support, sir. I'd love to have your support. I'm down at about 3. I'd love to have your support. All right, let's think about it. And it was like a rocket ship after I gave it. Otherwise, right now, you'd have a lawyer someplace looking for business.
Yeah, you remember Donald Trump talking all that trash back in April before the E Jean Carroll verdict dropped, saying how DeSantis needed all of his support. Well, it kind of seems like things might be shifting a bit. You can just ask the Republican lawmakers there in New Hampshire. In late April, Juliet Harvey-Bolia, a Republican New Hampshire state representative, was one of dozens of elected officials whose endorsements for President Donald Trump announced at a PAC rally in Manchester. On Tuesday, officials at Never Back Down, the super PAC backing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, said Harvey-Bolia is throwing her support to their guy. She is one of 4 New Hampshire legislators. The others are Representative Brian Cole, Lisa Smart, Debra DiSimone, whom Never Back Down identified as flipping from Trump to DeSantis as it rolled out endorsements from 51 lawmakers in the state who signed a pledge to back DeSantis. Now, Representative Harvey-Bolia wanted to provide some clarification to her endorsement of DeSantis, saying this: "I'm endorsing both. DeSantis has a lot of promise for the future and Trump is great now." Okay, this woman needs to know this isn't like ordering appetizers. You can't just, go tapa style and have a few. You have to actually back somebody and say it with your chest. But I'm sure she is afraid to back DeSantis because she's afraid of what Trump is going to say, given how he loves to stick his minions on folks. But then again, it's like you let that fool rise to power. That's a you issue. Anyway, as much as she won't pick her poison, well, DeSantis has also picked up some steam in Iowa. DeSantis is trying to show he is building momentum as he nears making a bid official. Last week, his super PAC revealed endorsements from 37 Iowa legislators just before he launched a 3-city tour of the state. Now, with that said, Florida's purported governor still has a lot of ground to make up. And in the Real Clear Politics average of national polls, Trump stands at 55% and DeSantis at 21%. Public Service of Iowa caucus goers and New Hampshire voters show Trump in the lead in each state. So as much as Trump is still holding on to the lead, if you start having legislators who start backing DeSantis more and using their voice to support him, I'm sure there are people out there who would willingly flip, and they can be manipulated because, my God, they are Trump supporters, so they're not necessarily the smartest cookies on the plate. So that should be kind of scary to Trump. I don't know, Rayyvana, what do you think?
Yeah, first I think that these Republican lawmakers are absolute cowards, and you're right. They're scared not just of what Trump will say about them, because he's petty. He will say something about them specifically, but it's also the supporters, the base that he's curated, that they've helped him curate, that they're too scared to go against now. Overall, this sort of more competitive Republican primary between these two, the way it's looking is scary for me, because either way, whichever one of them is the candidate, poses a horrifying future for the country if they were to become the president, or in Trump's case, become the president again. But I think it really needs to be ringing some alarm bells for the Democrats that maybe having a more competitive or robust primary for the president would be a good thing, so that we can see where public support is actually going, instead of throwing all of their eggs in the Biden basket, when Biden is, an older man who, might not be the best position to race against either one of those candidates, Trump or DeSantis. So I think that they really need to have, do some introspection, look at their party, look at the base, look at their supporters and what they want. So that when the Republican primary is over, we're not looking at a huge differential between Biden and whichever Republican candidate it may be, although I think it's probably going to be Trump. If it were DeSantis, I think that they need to get serious about their chances moving forward, especially, with Biden as the candidate.
And at this point, I'm actually more or less on Team Trump if I had to choose between him and DeSantis, by virtue of the fact that, Trump is also on his way knocking on heaven's door. So I'll take a little, foot in the grave kind of action over DeSantis, who may have years in front of him. And I just kind of sit there and hope for the best in terms of, the Lord calls somebody home. But that's just me, because as far as I'm concerned, the things I've seen out of Florida with DeSantis and all of his not giving a damn about the Constitution, laws, and in any way trying to carve out legislation that would pass constitutional muster, the man does not care. And also his picking a fight with Disney and creating a situation in which migrants are fleeing the state to the economic detriment of his constituents. Like, this man is not wise at all. He is far from wise. He is big on ensuring everyone suffers. At least Trump is greedy, and he's gonna keep the engine going as long as he's gonna continue to benefit from it. Whereas DeSantis will let everything burn down and sit there grinning with pudding smeared on his face. Any last thoughts, Rayyvana?
I had something with the pudding comment. I'm sorry. No, I think you said it all.